The third installment of the Riddick franchise attempts to go back to its roots, after the Chronicles of Riddick massively changed the formula when compared to Pitch Black. This film is a blend of them both. 2013's Riddick continues the story shortly after the previous installment, and straight away you can tell the emphasis is on recapturing some of that initial survival formula. And does the film do it? In the first half, you're damn right it does. Not a single word is spoken in that opening 10 minutes, as a badly injured Riddick just tries to keep himself alive. It was such an effective opener. It didn't need any words, that was the beauty of it. The tension was already there, and it was that made the first film so good. Whether it was against the giant wolf-like dogs or the poisonous alien serpent, it was gripping to see Riddick learn and adapt to these unknown surroundings. We got our bit of exposition, which we of course needed, since the last time we saw Riddick he was the Lord Marshal of the Necromongers, so to be here now was a drastic turn for the worst. Though it was awesome to see Karl Urban return, even if it was very briefly. Varko made an agreement with Riddick. The crown in exchange for knowledge and a trip to Furia. We learnt in the last film that was Riddick's homeworld, and he's desperately trying to find a way back there. His race is nearly forgotten now, so you can't blame him for accepting that deal. It was only then when things went sour. Varko intended to honour their agreement, but it was another one of the Necromonger commanders, Crone, who deceived them both in order to keep what he killed. It was then we shifted back into the present as Riddick continued his work to find a way around these deadly serpents. Just the little things like capturing one of those little wolf pups and trialling it with the poison before using it on himself is just a smart piece of detail that I can really appreciate. I enjoyed the whole film from start to finish, it just had me more engaged than the Chronicles of Riddick did. But that first 30 minutes was where the film shined the most. Those alien serpent-like creatures were just terrific in design. The CGI was excellent and those things looked fucking cool. Riddick eventually manoeuvres his way around the main one guarding his route to freedom, and then came the kicker. Yep, in similar circumstances to Pitch Black where the aliens only appeared at night, these ones followed the storm. And you guessed it, that storm was heading his way. This ups the ante and introduced us to two very different mercenary groups. The first to arrive after being alerted to Riddick's presence was the more savage group led by their leader, Santana. Geordie Moller fit right in, proclaiming for everyone to hear that he was the man, and that Riddick's head would end up in his box. To be honest though, it was Diaz who stole most of the scenes he was in. Dave Bautista was impressive as Santana's right-hand man. And you can't fault the guy in looking like a merc, he's built like a damn tank. And then we had the second more organised group of mercs, led by a familiar name, Johns. Matt Nable's character is the father of Cole Hauser's mercenary from the first film, and more than anything else, his inclusion made sense. No one apart from the three survivors knew exactly what happened back on that planet. So for Johns' father to be still searching, desperate for answers, created a welcome circle back to that story. He never wanted to kill Riddick, he just wanted to know what happened to his son. And with his right-hand woman, Doll, Katie Sackhoff's character, he was able to focus solely on catching Riddick, while she was tasked with keeping Santana's group on a leash. Easier said than done. But Santana learnt the hard way on more than one occasion that you don't fuck with her. Now watching Riddick stalk in the shadows and carefully taking out one merc at a time will never get old. And this time, he wasn't alone. His pup, now fully grown, was able to aid him in trimming down the numbers. I'd love to know though how long he was travelling for that pup to grow up so quickly, but its addition helped again to try and humanise Riddick a little, particularly in the moments where they both were playing around. But his hunt couldn't last forever. The clock was ticking for when that rain would hit the station, and with it came a far greater threat than our resident Furian. But would the mercs realise that before it was too late?
When the chains come off,
Jesus Christ.
first.
Box boy, you go in the first 5 seconds.
My overall verdict for Riddick is a 7 out of 10. It's the same score I gave The Chronicles of Riddick, but in my eyes, out of the 3, this is ranked at number 2. They are very close together in my view, and depending on your preference, you could easily prefer The Chronicles over this one. I've said time and time and again in my other reviews that I loved the survival aspect about Pitch Black, and this film does recapture some of that essence. It was never going to be better than Pitch Black. I would be very surprised if any other instalments do reach those heights. But the straightforward plot, the cool looking CGI aliens, and it trying to reach back to its survivor roots allows it to, in my book, just about eclipse The Chronicles of Riddick. There's no doubt that the character is close to Vin Diesel's heart. He and the director David Toy gave the fans exactly what they wanted in shifting things back to a rated R. It allowed the film to let loose, to not hold back. Riddick stalking the mercs gave us some pretty cool kills, but the one on Santana, fuck, that was gory. I mean, it was sort of written on the wall for him once he kept banging on and on about his box all the time, so karma was a bitch when he sealed his own fate. Again, Dave Bautista stole most of the scenes that he was involved in, but Matt Nable's Johns was central to this story, and he wasn't afraid of anything in order to reach him. That, in part, I guess, is what earned him a shred of respect from Riddick. Well, that and him honouring his word and saving his ass at the end, but Johns proved that unlike Little Johns, he did indeed hold a strong spine. And the soundtrack that played over the ending really did add to that feeling that Riddick's time was about to be up. Remember in the beginning of how Varco spoke about Furia and how when the warriors' weapons failed them, they still killed dozens more with their bare hands. So to see Riddick fighting like that now gave us a bit of an indication that he was very nearly out of gas. I do hope we get a 4th instalment, which I believe might be under the name of Furia. And if we do, we need to get a full explanation of what really happened to Varco. I for one hope that we have not seen the last of Karl Urban. Overall, it's a good film, and I like it. How about you? And if we do get a 4th instalment in the franchise, what would you like to see from it? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review. And I'll see you on the next one.
Transcendence.